What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Chopper channel, coming to you with a Monday edition of NBA and NFL Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a president of our great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. My friends, we ended up cashing the Jason Myers field goals. We ended up cashing Kyron Williams anytime touchdown, which was my favorite of the grouping, but overall was just a meh NFL day. Ended up down just a tiny bit overall, but NBA carried the day, ended up sweeping over there. Andre Drummond gets the start, kind of predicted that one. Wish I had fired a lot more on that in the premium Discord, obviously, for those of you listening. Obviously, it was a discussion in there, and I was getting zesty. I was feeling zestfully clean, but like dirty and potty poop mouth, Ron Burgundy poop mouth. But anyway, my allergies are terrible. I bet you can tell. It is that time of the year, the fall in the Southwest. Oh boy, it is just awful times. But what I'm looking forward to, friends, is some basketball. We got 9 games that we're going to break down here. I've got 2 plays for you already, both of them being plays on teams, a spread and a money line. So looking forward to talking through both of those situations. Props, it's the majority of what I do, but hey, night before, there's a number of them that are actually out. I'm just not really intrigued by a whole heck of a lot. So want to wake up early in the morning and read the tea leaves and figure it out from there. So sound good, great, grand. Last day, you're going to be able to take advantage of this. So do it. Promo code SWEEP12. If you thought, hey, you know, I like this Eric fellow. Looks a little bit like a raccoon tonight. Yeah, these European games are killing me, man. Get up early in the morning and then just not get enough sleep. And now I'm exhausted, but I'm not going to complain. I get to talk sports and bet sports every single day. My life is pretty good, but I got to be pretty good at it in order to be able to do it. And, well, I think I can do just that. We can talk process. We can talk plays. You can get all of the things that I bet every single day. SWEEP12, that is the promo code you can use at the video description box below to join the Discord. Hop over to Tails. Speaking of, be like Lindy, join Tails today. Really good times overall. Feel good about the process. Hey, we got a David Njoku touchdown through as well. Forgot that one. About to throw that into the mix. But yeah, definitely got more wrong than right this week. But swept NFL last week. Swept NBA today. You guys can check it out all over on Tails. That is the spot. Tails.bet/Lindy. Tails.bet. Go check out all the great free picks given by so many different experts. The great VIP packages there for experts. So check it all out. And without further ado, let's get to the leans. Lindy's Leans, Likes and Locks. We got Lindy's Leans, Likes and Locks. I don't know. That didn't have a lot of flow to it. Speaking of, the Lakers offense didn't have a lot of flow to it against Atlanta, where the players play and they ride on the things like every day. What are we doing? Luka, he actually played all right overall, but like Atlanta put the smack down. The Lakers are actually involved in, I think, the 2 weirdest losses of the entire year. The Lakers beating up on Portland with nobody, no Austin Reeves, no Luka Doncic, and then Atlanta just thrashing the Lakers there with Luka active. Now, Austin Reeves is upgraded to questionable for this one with that groin injury. I don't really have a good feel. Sometimes when you get a star player elevated to the questionable tag, well, I kind of get more on the side of them being able to play because it's like, well, why even put them in any kind of harm's way? But we just saw this with Anthony Davis, and I think that speaks to the Mavs a little bit more than it speaks to what's going on here with the Lakers. So I do think Austin Reeves ends up playing in this one. If I knew that was official with those 2, I think I would have a little bit of coin on this one already at 7.5, but I think you just have to pass. We're going to be able to bet on so many NBA games from now until the end of June. Yeah, did you hear me? The end of June. That's when this season goes till. So we have plenty of NBA times to make some money. Over 6 months of basketball left. Not going to force a thin spread that, hey, cool, you get 1.5 of closing line value here. Is that really worth it? Let me work it. I'll put my thing down, zip it, and reverse it. It's your firm difference when you had Washington plus 13 here. Man, allergies kill me. Washington Wizards, Detroit Pistons in this one. And this is a little bit strange to me because I ran the numbers multiple times. Tobias Harris, it's kind of strange. On a back-to-back, it was kind of assumed to me that they were going to potentially just like hold off on him no matter what. It's like, all right, we don't need to rush him back. A little bit of my analysis when we get to the next slide with Minnesota too, where it's like, all right, Mike Conley, some of these guys that could potentially be sitting, but yeah, Harris has been out for the last few. And now Isaiah Stewart, he's also out today from Sunday. We'll see if he ends up playing on Monday, but I doubt it. I very highly doubt it. Washington's really, really hard to get a grasp on how you're supposed to even handicap that. Bilal Coulibaly out for them here as well. Just CJ McCollum, can he go scorched earth to keep them in basketball games, period? I don't know if he can continue that kind of devil's magic. We got Norman Powell over 22.5 points. Again, we had a number of props actually out here night before. I think the main thing for me here is that Cleveland defensively, I think they can really, really step up when they want to with Evan Mobley, Jared Allen on the interior, and then Garland, Mitchell, Hunter. Hunter rotating on over to Powell, I'm a little bit worried about because, well, that guy can get down with his bad self and play some defense. And Pell Larson, you could basically just kind of put Donovan Mitchell over in the corner on him and not really worry about it too much. But I will say, again, this is just one of those spots where defensive rotations and the sum of the parts and the sum of the whole, I mean, Cleveland, they're so dominant on that side of things. And Khalil Ware, best of luck to you here, young man, because now no Bam Adebayo out there. Khalil Ware's looked all right here and looked really good in the preseason at times when he played absent Bam Adebayo, but this is a real front court you're going up against. I don't want anything to do with you tomorrow from a betting perspective. San Antonio Spurs taking on the Chicago Bulls, and Trey Jones, he could potentially be running point guard status here. We got a 233.5 total, a little bit lower than I was expecting to see for San Antonio and Chicago. But a lot of that has to do with the questionable status here for Josh Giddey. He's the only questionable piece that we have on the Chicago side. As for on the San Antonio side, Luke Cornett and everything is blue for him and himself, and everything around is just blue. Like him inside and outside blue. No, we're not going to keep singing that. Blue. Yeah, we're done. Trey Jones here, 6.5 assists. When you take him off the floor, Josh Giddey, that is, it just goes ballistic. But I can't believe this opening number. I would want to be on the over if I knew Josh Giddey was out. I would want to be on the under if Josh Giddey is playing. And that's kind of the dichotomy of this entire thing, is that it is so volatile based on Josh Giddey's status. But I do have him closer on that like 40-45% threshold to play in this game. So like the 55% threshold to not play. So keep that in mind if you're trying to handicap for yourself and like how you're weighting certain players. I do it a lot because it's fun. And I've built sliders in ChatGPT and Claude Code to just do the thing for me. It's really fun. It's fun. We're having fun. We got Gillespie assist ladder ? Why would I bring up such a crazy thing? Well, it was a bummer to watch. Jalen Green got hurt again. His hamstring got dinged up and he's going to be out for a while. I saw 2 to 4 weeks is like the early estimate. I'd be surprised if we saw him play basketball in the next month. And it's just going to open up more minutes for a guy who gets shit done when he is on a basketball floor in Connor Gillespie. The usage is there. The assist rate is there, especially the assist rate with Mark Williams on the interior. I brought that up before when we played the over 4.5 assists, even money play. What was it? It was not this last Friday, but the Friday before that, I believe. Insane how I have a memory of these things, but it was Halloween. I was talking about it with a buddy, stupid pirate, and I was like a blind referee because that's what I am every year. And everybody's like, oh, it's the Kansas City Chiefs' best friend. I don't give a shit. I don't care. Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Utah Jazz, and they are just stuffing it to Sacramento right now. They're up 24 as of recording this right now. It is 10:45 Eastern time, 7:45 Pacific. So just telling you right now, the Timberwolves, somebody might get hurt between then and now, but I very highly doubt it. You got Randall just playing some really good basketball at the moment. And I do have a lot of interest in, specific props on the Minnesota side because I think we could get some rest candidates. It's like a game that's still attainable even without, playing Ant, even without playing Randall, even without playing Gobert. You might find something there to mine out, but Utah getting 12.5 here at altitude. I know it's not like quite Denver, but still up there. Salt Lake City. Real ones know that one from, was it Book of Mormon? Book of Mormon. Shout out to my Mormon friends. I doubt you're watching this program, but Utah plus 12.5. Definitely something I am leaning towards purely because Minnesota getting caught on that back-to-back type deal, kind of similar to what we're going to talk about in a couple of other spots. Lastly, Kristaps Porzingis taking on the Clippers here, and Ivica Zubac. Yeah, he will put up some usage if need be. And I will say, Porzingis, there's a world where he doesn't even necessarily start here, and it could just be a Kongwu if Jalen Johnson plays. But my assumption as of right now, Nicole Alexander-Walker, huge questionable tag as well. Keaton Wallace would end up getting the start there. But my assumption is it'd be Nah, Dyson Daniels, Zachary Risochet, Jalen Johnson, and then you put Porzingis into that starting lineup. But Okongwu's been pretty good. And you look at some of the on-off court splits for them, maybe they are like, hey, we're going to limit Porzingis' minutes throughout the regular season anyway. Maybe we have Okongwu out there starting. Just saying. Not saying it's a guarantee. Plus, I don't think it swings the minutes in any drastic way for either one of them, but I would bump Okongwu up a minute or two and he'd look much better for overs. But Porzingis, 20 plus, assuming that the number comes down. Clippers down in an earlier round. You stretch Zubats out to the perimeter. Might look at some rebounding totals as well for the interior there on the Atlanta side based on what they end up having. But yeah, shout out to them for beating up the Lakers in a spot that they absolutely should not have. Anyway, one more time for the people. Be like Lindy, join Tails today. I would love for you guys to check out the Tails app over at the Google Play Store, over at Google Chrome, or was it Google Chrome, Apple? No, it's just the Apple Store. The App Store, like the App Store. 90% of you have an iPhone. Like, let's be dead serious. But be like Lindy, join Tails today. Would love for you guys to check out Tails and everything we're building over there in the top 150 of sports apps in North America. I feel good about that. Keep rolling. We're ahead of the Premier League, which I find to be pretty funny. But be like Lindy, join Tails today. Want to get some plays? Let's get some actual plays, shall we? And then we'll talk NFL on the way out. Oopsie. Wrong game. We got ourselves Portland taking on Orlando to begin everything. Hit that like button for me. It would be very nice. Wouldn't it be nice? But Jalen Suggs will more than likely not be in for this one. And I haven't done this bit for like 2 years, mainly because he didn't play like all of last year. Baby, I'm Jalen Suggs. I don't know what this world's going to bring. But I do know what's going to bring us on Monday is getting on some Portland money. There's a couple of reasons. First off, I look at dunks and threes and try to kind of always get ahead of the curve on like, hey, where are teams trending? What's the EPM for this guy, that guy? How are specific rotations playing on NBA.com and looking at PNB stats and things of that nature? But Portland, friends, Portland's been much better than advertised. And part of that is Drew Holiday. A holiday celebrate. They got Jovic'd in Miami the other day. Not even the Jokic, the Jovic'd. But Drew Holiday has been doing a really good job of commanding this offense in a way that I wasn't anticipating fully. I didn't know what to make of the end of his tenure there in Boston. And I think you can kind of put those rests aside. I mean, Shaedon Sharpe is the guy who's got to start playing some basketball. Toumani Camara, what a wonderful phrase. Toumani Camara, defensive praise. It means worry for the rest of your days if you're going up against him like Franz Wagner will be tomorrow. That's not very fun. But Deni Avdija also commanding this offense in a very, very real way. It's the two of them playing in sync, not Backstreet Boys, but in sync. And we got Jeremy Grant coming off the bench. There's just so much as far as the rotations go and putting EPM and changing the sliders and minutes for guys. And Orlando played on Sunday. Portland did not. Give me Portland plus 2.5. I'll take the points here. Minus 105. Orlando. They got in a little bit of a dogfight there with Boston. Had to take them on twice there. And well, Anthony Simons went ballistic, formerly of these Portland Trailblazers. Now Portland comes to party. And how many other P words can I use in a sentence? Whatever. We're done. Portland plus 2.5. The modeling really, really likes that one. Let's get to probably the most interesting spot, I think, on the entire slate for tomorrow. Milwaukee taking on Dallas. And we got rumblings that, maybe this Nico guy wasn't making such a good idea last year, trading Luka Doncic, your franchise player that everybody liked in Dallas. And sure, he can be annoying from time to time. And sure, he can, argue fouls. It's an NBA player. But yeah, he's a little bit more eccentric about it. But Milwaukee, Giannis Antetokounmpo coming here into the Lions' den. And the big thing is who's going to be matching up against him at the 4, because PJ Washington's been playing that, but Anthony Davis is questionable for this game, and I thought he was more likely to play last time around. I wish he had, because maybe it would have gotten me completely off of D'Angelo Russell and having to deal with that crap, because since he's been brought into the starting unit, he's been dog doo-doo. He was great off the bench, playing for that starting spot, then gets it, and, well, times have been tough, but I will say this, props on the Milwaukee side. Milwaukee has printed for us in the premium Discord this year. Ryan Rollins, 3-pointers, it's almost free as air. I don't have the line here yet, but today we ended up firing that still inside of minus 140. I don't understand how we keep getting over 1.5 threes. He was north of a 42% three-point shooter all of last season. This year, takes on a bigger role. There's no Kevin Porter Jr. out there, and he's played damn good, fine basketball. Plus, Cole Anthony on the defensive end, not something you want to close with a ton unless he is absolutely crushing. So the minutes are always really secure. I think it's just one of those things where the market is very slow to react about specific players and specific roles, especially if the liquidity is low. Like, it's not like a ton of money is coming in on, our couple $100, my couple like $100, $50 on different stuff for Ryan Rollins 3-pointers, and collectively as a Discord, maybe what is that, 10 grand, 15 grand? That's not going to change the universe. It's not going to change as much. Now, if you're one of those 250K accounts over on X, you probably can swing things in maybe the wrong direction, and you're probably better off taking the opposite side long term. But that's a conversation for a different day. The conversation for this day is I think Anthony Davis is still like on that 50-50 type walking path. And the fact that they had brought him up as questionable last time and then he didn't play, I do have to down tick it a little bit to be like more of that 40-45% he plays. And it's got me liking Milwaukee quite a bit. Plus, there's not a lot of synergy out there. Times are tough. Cooper Flagg hasn't been as good offensively. He's still been very, very good. And what he does defensively, you cannot emphasize enough. But Dallas needs offense. They need Anthony Davis badly. And if he doesn't play, we're going to get a ton of CLV for this one. And if he does play, I still think it's a very live number here. So keep that in check for what it is. Obviously, I can't tell you right now as of recording this, nearly 11 p.m. Eastern time, 8 p.m. Pacific, night before. But I do think the line moves more in our favor on the event of Anthony Davis sitting than him playing. So I think I explained that correctly. Let's get ourselves to the NFL. I really not feeling 100% again. What is it about Sunday nights? Just not feeling great. I didn't go to the bar with the boys. I literally sat here and bet basketball all afternoon and updated some cool stuff in ChatGPT. But, it's a conversation for a different day. The conversation for right now is the defending Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles, taking on I would have said coming into this season, Green Bay. Looked pretty tasty considering Micah Parsons' trade, considering how all of that came together before the beginning of the year. And I still think these are two teams that really, really have a lot to say in the NFC. I don't think that's breaking any news to anybody, but I wouldn't be shocked if we see this matchup again. We'll put it that way. And the Green Bay side of things, they did go into Philly last year, went through some of the box scores from it. There's not a ton for me to mine out purely because they had so many wide receiver injuries at the tail end of last year. Christian Watson was out, obviously, like the entire year. You had Romeo Doubs get dinged up in that game. You had Dontavian Wicks get dinged up at the very tail end of that game and ended up having it be Melton and some other dudes that ended up rotating in. And they played it pretty competitively against Philly towards the end. Absolute shootout stuff between them and the Rams and everything else. But obviously, this is an offensive line on the Philadelphia side that can really get things done. Green Bay, defensively, that was going to be the calling card with Micah Parsons, but they had a really tough time stopping the run against Rico Dowdle in some, I would say it was pretty windy overall. I don't think that helped the Green Bay side because I think there were other things that they wanted to do, and Carolina just kind of imposed their will on them, and then they lost to New Orleans today because #NFL. But as you look at DVOA on the specific teams here, one thing really stood out to me. The Eagles struggling a little bit more here against the run. And when you get a quarterback that's pretty secure to not run a ton, in Jordan Love, 9.5 being his rushing prop, we can look at the rushing yards per game, some of the DVOA metrics, and have a pretty good idea of where they're going to land. Plus, I don't think there's enough recognition in the marketplace of how much work Josh Jacobs got last week. Against Arizona, they were cautious with him. He was questionable to play, looked pretty good in pregame warmups. And then against Pittsburgh, he was ineffective, but it was a positive game script and one where I think they just basically were trying to kill clock in a lot of spots where, it didn't look great in the box score. 13 carries for 33 yards, but against Carolina, it was a negative game script, and he still went over 5 yards per carry, 17 attempts, 87 yards. Philly, over the course of this season, giving up over 120 yards rushing per game on the ground. And Josh Jacobs should account for over 80% of the running back touches in this game, considering his health, considering this is on Monday night, had a little bit of an extended break here for him. Gimme Josh Jacobs over 68.5 rushing yards. I think this is too low. I'd play it up to 73.5 at the -112 type number. I think he is in store for a decent workload. And considering this is basically a pick'em, considering it's in Lambeau, I will take Josh Jacobs to get things done against this defensive front that, yeah, there are a lot of great pieces. There's no question. Philadelphia still the team to beat in the NFC. But I think Green Bay shows them a pretty good game here. Don't have any interest in this total. Don't have any interest in the money lines here. But Josh Jacobs, a lot of props also that stand out. Dallas Goedert anytime touchdown, maybe? But with A.J. Brown back, it is really hard for me to want to deal with a ton in that passing game. Hopefully that number gets a little bit north of the plus 250 mark here. It's sitting a little low still at the moment. But Josh Jacobs, my favorite prop as of right now for the night before. Alrighty, y'all. Last day to take advantage of this. This is going to be done come Tuesday. Get a month for just $12. Promo code SWEEP12. That was from last week, and obviously it looks ridiculous coming into this week where 2-2 on the video, a little bit down overall in the NFL, but NBA carries the day on Sunday. Andre Drummond double-double. How you like them apples? That's what research will do for you, or just looking at the rotations from the day before. Adam Bona. Oh, interesting. Not in the rotation as much. Played 6 minutes. Andre Drummond must be playing well. Whatever. We can talk about all of those things in the premium Discord, which you can jump in for just $12. Let's get the heck up out of here. And that does it for a allergy-filled edition of NBA and NFL Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to the comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays. Let me know if you were up at 5:30, 6 a.m. with me watching European football, which, well, not actual European football. American football played in Europe. And Jonathan Taylor, I had to play against in my big season-long league, and I have a meltdown coming for that. That's for sure. Oops. Until next time, friends, hopefully you avoided that landmine. I'm Amir Gibbs and everything, so that was useful. I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NFL. Well, especially the NFLs and the NBA props. And I'm tired. We'll see ya. Bye.